Hello again, and welcome back to another one. And today we have a lot to unpack thanks to the latest episode of the Pod that features Eminem. And let's just say it's been a sad couple of hours for hardcore Relapse fans, as it seems that time hasn't changed how Eminem feels about the album, and he had more to add that shut things down once and for all. More on this in a bit. Today we also have more on Curtain Call 2 that sparked confusion on the web a few hours ago when we broke the news that it topped 500,000 sold in the United States already, and we'll be exploring more on this in a bit. Today we also have a feat that no one anticipated would ever happen in Eminem's career, but check this out. DJ Khaled's Use This Gospel remix featuring Kanye West and Eminem debuts at number 1 on this week's Hot Christian Songs chart. It earns DJ Khaled and Eminem their first number ones on the chart and West his 5th, and the reactions have been what you'd expect. There's a part of me that wants to laugh at this. Eminem, number 1 on a Christian Songs chart? Kind of ironic, laughing emoji. Another user expands, I never thought this would happen one day when Eminem, and check this out from longtime Eminem associate Mark Batson. If they would have told me 10 years ago that Dre and M would have the number 1 gospel song out one day, I'm not sure I would have believed them. Laughing emojis. Congrats to Aftermath and the ICU, one of the greatest team of musicians ever assembled under one roof. And on a side note, I guess KJ52 may reach out to Eminem again, but let's hope he doesn't go the route of, in quotes, Eminem taking food from my daughter's mouth, if you know what I mean. Moving on, Curtain Call 2 numbers from Hits Daily Double has caused a bit of confusion on the web, as many music fans still have no idea of how equivalent sales tracking works in the streaming era. So the fact that it's been reported that Curtain Call 2 has moved over 500,000 has been met with shock and disbelief. On Reddit, for instance, a user expands because it's wrong. These are not actual sales. Curtain Call 2 debuted with 45,000, and it's only been a month since the album released. Unless CC2 is selling like 100,000 every week, which should put it in the top 2 to 3 on the Billboard chart. Spoiler, it's not. It's on number 26. It's wrong. Well, for starters, what if I told you that Cardi B's upcoming album that's yet to be released has already moved over 1 million equivalent album units so far in the United States? Of course, you'd say that's impossible if you don't know how things work in the streaming era, but she's released songs like WAP, Up, and Hot-ish, and these songs have been counting towards the total equivalent album sales of her next album. Due to chart rules, it won't be applied to her first week, but the backlog sales would be added after, and she could literally get her album certified platinum on the first day of release if she wanted to. For Curtain Call 2, the songs have been out all year, adding up, and finally, when it dropped, Hits Daily Double compiled the sales for the year, including the post-release sales and orders that didn't qualify for first week, and that's where the 546,000 figure comes from. Simply put, songs on CC2 have moved the equivalent of 546,000 in 2022. Sales started piling up months before the album dropped. It's that simple. And with sales figures like this, it answers the question many fans asked initially. Why is Eminem dropping the greatest hits album in the streaming era? And here's a reaction that cracked me up now that we've seen these figures. I never said anything wrong about CC2. CC2 is my friend. And some have concluded, man, M can't take an L, holy-ish. As fans, we never have access to the raw data, but now we see that Eminem's team clearly made an informed decision when they decided to release Curtain Call 2. It's gonna chart for a very long time, it seems. Moving on, it's been a rough couple of hours for the fans who put Relapse top of the list when ranking Eminem albums, as clearly, based on the latest episode of the Pod, Eminem's feelings towards the album stays consistent. Check this out.
What did you think about looking back at that point and now? What are your feelings on Relapse?
Well, I don't have a problem with some of the rhymes, and I don't have a problem with some of the verses as far as lyrically.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that the accents, I felt like I sounded so demented in that that I got cemented in that
Right.
And then I bent it back, and then I went to scratch itch.
You felt like you were stuck in it, and you felt like you just went way too heavy on the accent. So
it was literally like a awakening, and it happened in like 10 minutes, listening to some of my older and going, I needed to feel like this again. And the first song I did out there was the one Mr. Porter did, On Fire.
You're talking about On Fire, yeah.
Yep.
And there was more, as for the past couple of months, there's been speculations about Eminem's upcoming album, and believe it or not, there's fans out there who hold out hope for a Relapse 2. In fact, hours before this dropped, threads like this popped up on Reddit. If Relapse 2 is his next project, October 28th would be perfect, just in time for us to be in the Halloween spirit. But Paul Rosenberg pushed for Eminem to clear things up.
So we're gonna move into recovery, but before we do, I wanted to talk a little bit about something and clear something up. At the time we were creating Relapse, we were going to make it a double album. You had enough songs, you thought, to make a Relapse 2, right? And at some point, you decided to not do that. And I think it was at the point where you said, okay, enough with this accent stuff. But what we did was we put a bunch of those songs out as Relapse Refill, right?
Yep.
And then some songs leaked out, right? So there was maybe 3 or 4 more of those from those sessions leaked out, but that was it. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because a lot of your fans think that there's some hidden Relapse 2 album. Can you just clear that up?
I mean, there's probably enough to make another Relapse 2. Like when I go back,
not that hasn't either leaked out or that was used on Relapse Refill.
Wait, say that again, because
there's not enough songs to make an album, not even close, that either weren't included on Relapse Refill or that had leaked out.
There are a lot of songs still that did not leak out
from Relapse.
From Relapse, yep.
Okay, so then your fans are demanding that you release them.
Well, that's a setup.
I'm just saying, I'm trying to clear it up because they think that I'm holding back some Relapse 2 project, but you're saying there's enough songs for one.
Yeah, there might be, but they're terrible songs. And if they didn't even make the albums on Relapse, and I feel how I feel about Relapse, then that should say something.
Right. So just put it to bed right now. Tell your fans there's not going to be a Relapse 2, right?
All 2 of them. There's no Relapse 2.
This also confirms that Paul Rosenberg was wrong about his take previously that there were no more songs for Relapse 2, as Eminem confirmed there's enough in the vault for another one. And now this news has been met with... On Reddit, you can find popular takes like,
Huh?
In fact, some have dismissed Eminem's claims. I feel like M's hate for Relapse is fake, but I believe those who were grown enough to understand the difficult situation it was put in by the initial reception of Relapse know it nearly spelled doom for Eminem's career. Recovery was literally a recovery if you actually witnessed how Relapse was initially received. Perhaps Eminem can't get over that. For today, that will be all. Share your thoughts below. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoy content like this, and see you on the next one.